Elizabeth Halford is a company partner and executive producer at Global Fire Creative. She'll be speaking about getting the brief for corporate video. Elizabeth, why is the brief so important?
The brief is, as you start on this process of a project, which starts with a concept and ends with a final delivery of some amazing piece of content, the brief is like your Bible, and you will consistently and constantly be going back to it throughout the process of making this piece of work. So it's ultra important. It helps to set expectations with a client. It tells you why you're doing what you're doing, which is the most important question of all.
And what sort of areas should a competent brief cover?
Well, you have all the normal things like, what are you making, a video, a photo shoot, whatever it is. You've got what you're making. You've got deadlines and file delivery and all of that kind of stuff. But the most important thing that a brief should have in it is, why are you making what you're making? And who are you talking to? Quite often that will just be demographics, age, location, gender, but also something that, that you might hear this word psychographics, but basically it's like, who are you talking to? What do they believe? What are they thinking before they see this piece of content? What do we want them thinking after? What's the call to action going to be? All of that kind of stuff wrapped up in this big question of why. Why are you making what you're making? And you will constantly be going back to it in the process of creating this piece of video content.
And how do you ensure that the brief remains in control of the job?
Intrinsically it will, if it's a well-written brief. Quite often, and hopefully and ideally, your client would present you with a brief. Sometimes they just come to you and say, we need to make such and such. And it's really important that step one of making such and such is actually making the brief. So you can learn how to actually take your client through the steps of writing the brief. And then you will keep going back to it as and when you need to always make sure that every stage of your project is staying on brief. And then if your client moves goalposts, kind of starts to speak in lingo that makes you think maybe they have changed what we're doing or why we're doing it, then you can refer back to the brief as a way of maintaining those expectations that you establish. And then that helps, accounting-wise, it helps you to be able to also charge if you need to charge to kind of go back in time and redo part of the process, because all that will have been in writing. It's almost like a contract.
And finally, what for you are the benefits of a really good brief?
Like I said, it helps to maintain expectations. Properly setting and maintaining expectations throughout the process of any client interaction is paramount. As a producer myself, it's my job to be making sure that every single stakeholder in the process is communicating with each other, that communications are flowing, and the brief helps to make sure that everybody's staying on track, staying on brief. It's also my job to make sure it's staying in budget and on time. But the brief is your Bible. You will keep going back to it. So it's the foundation of any good project.
Elizabeth, thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.